Hey guys, welcome back to the Ramsey Custom Shop. My name is Gary, and if this is your first time checking out my channel, my question to you is, where have you been? We've been waiting for you. Glad you're here. So the purpose of this video today is to do an in-depth look at this 63-ton Prima Press CNC press brake. So let's go check it out. All right, so the 63-ton, 63-inch wide CNC press brake from Prima Press. This one's for sale, and we're going to walk through the process of getting it up and going. Now, these are all tested in the factory, so it's already been powered up, and you know the movements have been tested. It's been filled with hydraulic fluid. But by the way, if you get one of these from me, you will need to get your own hydraulic fluid and your own wiring. But we're going to show you the process of getting going with that today. So again, it's a 63-ton, 63-inch wide press brake. It will bend 5 millimeter or 3/16 across the full width, and you can bend 1/4 inch in narrow widths or 6 millimeter. And the machine weighs, you see on the screen, I've got all the specs. So the machine weight is right at a little under 8,000 pounds. The height, if you're worried about clearance with doors, doorways, things like that, from the very top to the bottom is 81.5 inches tall. And if you look at the back of it, you'll see that there's some covers up there that are taking about 2 inches. And then if you really needed to get extra clearance, you could remove the ram and the cylinders there and get it to where that these side plates are the tallest part of it. And the side plates are 75 inches tall. So if you have a doorway that's at least 75 inches tall and you're willing to kind of do a partial disassemble, you could get that in your facility. So we've all these that I'm going to be selling are going to come with a 4-way bottom die and a segmented, slightly back relieved, not a full gooseneck, but some back relief in the top punch. And you can see the segmented sections there, and of course the quick change, quick release to get those configured however you need them for the job. So let's take a look around behind it, kind of how it's going to come. And by the way, if you get one of these, it is you're either going to pick it up from me here, or we'll have it hot shotted to you, or we'll have it drop shipped to you directly from China if you can wait, and if it's a configuration that I don't have in stock or that I don't plan to stock just because of the rigging and the expense of freight involved, that we don't want to duplicate that. But if that is the case, this is how it'll look. If it comes drop shipped from China, it's going to come in a crate. You're going to want to, if you see on the screen here, you're going to want to remove the screws from the entire bottom of the plate, and then or the crate, and then poke a hole in the top so you can get a forklift in there, and then just lift the whole crate from the top. You could also dismantle it in other ways, but basically you have a crate to dismantle. So it's going to come with, if there's any accessories or added tooling or anything like that, those will be back here. You can see that this is our foot pedal. We're going to show this later in the video, getting this cut loose and connected. And then in the back here, this is your CNC backstop and what it looks like. You can see the ball screws here that are controlled by the servo motors. So when you issue commands, when you go through the conversational to set up your program for the bend job that you have, this is the part, the CNC part of it that moves back and forth. So this is an NC type, not the full CNC servo type. And we'll cover that in another video, or maybe at the end of this video, so you have an understanding of what those are and that you have a realistic expectation of what this machine can do. So again, here's your, this particular one is a 3-phase, so we'll get into the wiring of that. I'm going to show you on one of the smaller ones as well in a separate video on single-phase wiring. But there's your motor. There's the pump right there, and your reservoir for the hydraulic fluid is going to be in here, in this area. These panels right here up top give you access to that, and we'll show you that in a minute when we get ready to pour the fluid in. And then if you take a look here in the corners, get in here and get you a shot of it. There's your massive hydraulic cylinders, and there's 2 of them. And again, this is an NC type machine. You know, it is servo driven, but it is NC with the torsion bar. You can see the torsion bar there connecting the 2 cylinders together. And so again, on the specs, I've got those on the screen. 40 gallons of hydraulic fluid, 8,000 pounds, 63 inches wide, 81.5 inches tall, and then 51 inches back there. So the 63-inch wide does not include these little kick out guard panels, and you'll have one of those on each side. Doesn't include your cabinet for the wiring. So let's go ahead and get this thing set up. All right, so you can see we got the foot pedal out of the way, and this thing has really 2 operations on it. It's going to control your up and down movement of the ram, and it's got an e-stop on top that you can hit to stop the machine should you need to in an emergency. So it is on a somewhat of a lengthy service looped tether, and it goes around and connects to the control cabinet right here. You can see that connection. So you just take the connector like that and make sure the locks are opened up on it. And you'll get a positive lock on both of them, and then it's connected. So that's really all there is to do with that. And you can move this out of the way, when you're not using it, push it back in, and we'll show you about the controller too, but it's on a pivot arm. It pivots this way, and then the whole arm can swing all the way out and around and out of the way, just depending on your shop configuration and what kind of space you have and needs you have. So that's the foot pedal. All right, so now let's take a look at the wiring on this and get it wired up. So here's the main cabinet, and we've got it cracked open here. And if yours happens to be locked, you're going to have a key for it. It'll be connected right there on zip ties, so you'll have that. And it's very, very cleanly done on the wiring with all, DIN rail connectors, the contactors, and of course you got your servo drives there. And our power input is going to be down at the bottom, and here's a look at it. And you see we have our L1, L2, L3 for the hot wires coming in on the 3-phase, and then the protective earth is the ground. So we're going to be using this style of setup. You're going to want to check with your electrician and codes in your area and do this, to code for your shop or your facility. But what I'm using is this style. Let me show you the style right here. This is called it's a 4-wire connector. It's 50 amp, and it's known as an RV plug. So I use those in my shop. They work well for me. They meet code in my area because they do serve as a form of disconnect. The one thing you're going to want to make sure that you have is some kind of disconnect, so that the machine can be disconnected from power, in an emergency. You can throw a lever on a fixed mounted, but I like this style because, if you need to, for me especially, if I need to move the machine around or whatever, then it's fairly easy to do. So whether you've got 3-phase coming into your shop, or that you're running off a phase converter, you're going to want to kind of follow the same setup. So this is SO cord. It's known as 8-4, so it's 8 gauge, 4 wires. You may need a bigger wire coming in because it depends on how far away you are from your main panel. You can see my main panel there. We're probably about 15 feet down, if that. And so we can get away with the 8-4. The main wires feeding the machine from the inputs there are 8 gauge, and so you need a 50 amp breaker, and you need an 8 gauge input wire. You might need a 6 gauge if you're further away. So what you're going to do is your L1, L2, L3. That's going to be your black your red and your white. So L1, L2, and L3, and then that's going to be your ground protective earth. So you want to just feed it up from the bottom through those holes, and if you want to protect those holes with a grommet of some kind, then yeah, that's a good idea. What I've got here is just a protective sleeve added to it. Of course, when you get these things stationary, they're not going to be moving around a lot, so chafing is not really a problem. But let me get it wired in, and then we'll take a look at it and show you that. All right, so there's the wiring all situated, L1, L2, L3, and our protective earth. And I've just got it routed out this way for now, but obviously you'd want to bring it in through and route it, you know, properly. But because this is going to get disconnected and sold at some point, probably fairly quickly here, I just did it that way. So we'll get it when we're ready to fire it up. We'll go ahead and get it plugged into our 3-phase outlet there. All right, so you're looking at the top of the press brake. You can see the ram there in the front, servos and so forth. So the back part of this, all this is the reservoir. Again, it's about 39 gallons total that it holds. And so you're going to have 2 different panels you can access. Obviously, the one on the right has got better access to pour the fluid in. There's no wiring or anything in the way on that, but really you could do either one you wanted. So you want to take a broom or compressed air or something and just clean it all off up top. You don't want anything loose falling in there when you remove the panel. So just make sure that, you know, everything that's loose is kind of not going to fall in there very easily. And then just undo your 4 access with a 5mm hex key. And then from there, you should have access to lift the panel out of the way. All right, and you can see we got a little residual in there where they tested it at the factory. And so now you want to dump 39 gallons in there. So let's do it. All right, so this is number 46 hydraulic oil and 5-gallon buckets. We're going to dump those in. You can pick this up at your Tractor Supply or whatever your local, you know, equipment dealer is for heavy equipment and tractors and so forth. You could also elect to get a 55-gallon drum and pump it in there. Just kind of, you know, your call. But this is a decent brand to get it broke in with, and then you might want to put a better brand in it for its ongoing, you know, use. I think the break-in period, you know, just a short period of time, and then after that it's like 2,000 to 3,000 hours that you get out of it. So, which is, if you used it 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, that would be like a year's worth. So obviously most people may not have it running that, you know, that much. But yeah, let's get it dumped in there. All right, so just getting up there with the bucket and dumping it in, you know. And the one thing, this is the first bucket I put in there. I went ahead and drilled a relief hole in the opposite end of the top from the spout to keep it from splashing and gurgling, and it made a big difference, and also sped up the length of time that it took for each gallon, 5 gallons to empty out. All right, so we got our fluid filled up and got the top back on it, bolted in. On the back of the machine here is going to be your main contactor, so you want to make sure this is off. And then, yeah, so we got it wired up. We're ready to plug it in and connect it. And then we'll come back and turn the contactor back on once we've done that. So let's just get this plugged in right here. All right, we got that. So let's hit the contactor, make sure we get power going. Hear the fan coming on. So this is the very first time you're seeing it with me. You see the controllers booted up there, and we've got some stuff in Chinese, so we'll need to deal with that. And often when you boot it up and you got some kind of error message, it's because the one or both of the e-stops are in. So you want to twist and let those out, and you see that release that. So now we have no errors, and we got things in metric, we got some things in Chinese, and I'll show you how to change all that. So again, you got 2 e-stops. If you ever see some kind of red weird error message that seems like it doesn't tell you that it's an e-stop, that's what it is. So alright, so let's go to the next step. Alright, so this is a very easy to use interface, very easy to navigate. It's a conversational type CNC interface. Conversational meaning you have a conversation with it. You know, like Tormach milling machines, for example, have their path palette conversational. It's known to be easy to use and you know, works well. So this is your main menu button to activate the main menu, and you see we have some of it in Chinese. So if you just got your machine and you want to get it in English, you know, you can go ahead and so just click the menu button, and of your 3 choices you want to pick the bottom one, and from there you want to pick the top one at the next menu. And then on this screen you can actually change it. The first one at the top there is the language, and so you see the CN and the symbols there, that means it's in Chinese. So if you tap it, now we can set it to English. Alright, so now you see everything is in English, and now we can set our units of measurement. You know, if you're used to working with metric, then it's all set, or if you're in a country that's metric, it's all set. And you can just toggle that, you know, right there. And so you can change your, you know, your force, your down force, you know, from tonnage to kilonewtons and so forth. Okay, so that's just the basic setup to get you going there. So we'll hit that to bring us back to the main menu, and you see now everything is in English and inches, and you know, and so forth. Alright, so at this point we're ready to fire up the pump, and the main control for the pump is right here, and this is a bit of a momentary button, so you know, so that you don't accidentally just bump it and knock and turn the pump on if you're not wanting to turn the pump on. So you just press and hold that, and it should fire up the pump. And I can hear it filling the cylinders there, building up some pressure. So we'll let that stay on for a little bit, and then we'll come back and show you more. All right, going to give you a basic demonstration of the machine and the interface, and you know how to use it. Very, very basic. And I am not an experienced press brake operator, and this is something that when you buy the machine, you're going to want to spend some time. You know, just like any other tool or machine that you buy, it's going to be up to you to kind of learn it, and hopefully we'll give you the basics, and you can take it from there. So this thing has a little menu system here, so you have some choices. You can go here to manual movement, and you can just basically manually set the position of the back gauge. Let me raise it up a little bit. So if you look at it there, it's sitting at 2 inches back. So let me do the manual movement again, and you'll see it move in real time while I'm moving it. Alright, so on the angle of the bend, you got these modes here, you know, and you can pick from different ones. And again, if you get everything dialed in, you should be able to pick the angles and punch those numbers in. And it basically just gives you this variable here. You see that 6792 is what it thinks it needs based on the material that you're going to put in there, you know, that the RAM needs to come down. But you can just change this to this setting here, and this is how you actually dial in, you know, for sure to know how far the RAM needs to come down to produce a certain angle. And some of this you may have to experiment a little bit with, but and then here is where you know, set the depth of your flange, you know. So if you wanted it to be 1 inch, 1 inch, and then so now we have 1 inches at 90 degrees, and from there you just hit the start button, and that will actually start the program. So if I hit the start button, you'll watch the back gauge move up to 1 inch. So it's in position, it's 1 inches back to give us a 1 inch. So from there you would just, you know, take the part you wanted to bend, butt it up against the back gauge, and you know, use your foot pedal to start down on it. And we'll show you that here in a second. All right, so let's see what we get now. So that actually tried to overbend it. So we got to go back a little bit. So 6.6. We'll say 6.70, and start that to get that to take effect. So let's go bend another one. Still tried to overbend it just a tiny bit. Getting close on it though. So 6.72. Kind of creeping up on it. All right, I've dialed it in a little bit further now. So we got a 1/2 inch flange, and 6.755 inches is the number. So let's go ahead and check it out and see what we can get with this. Pretty close to 90. Let's see if we can make a little piece of channel with it. All right. Obviously, you could dial that in more precise than that, and so the various thicknesses of material and the type of die you're using, you know, and what kind of radius you want on the bend. Lots of variables to getting that dialed in. But again, I believe if you get your tooling set and select your material, and you got your drawings for all your tooling, then you know, you can just pick the angle and go for it. All right, well, you saw the manual bending that we were doing there, and if you want to set it up where, you know, you're going to be on a production basis and you've got a part that's got multiple bends and angles and, you know, flanges and faces and returns and things like that, here's how you set that up. So if you click on this, you want to go back into the Easy Bend menu, and from here we'll just go and create a new program, and we'll say yes, we do want to create that. And if you notice right, whoops, if you notice right here, we have this 1 of 1. So this will be, you know, like our first flange that we want to create. So we're just going to make this 1 inch, you know, 90 degrees, for example. Well, we got to go select some tooling here. All right, so we'll say 1 inch, and so now we have a 1 inch flange that's 90 degrees, and let's say our next flange is going to be, you know, 90 degrees at 1.5 inches. So if you just hit the play button there, it's going to let you set another step, and if you notice, it incremented there to step 2 of 2. So on this one, you know, we want a 1.5 degree or 1.5 inch, you know, and so forth. And so now we have 2 of 2, and if you want to add, you know, another one, same thing. Make this one 4 inches. And yeah, so that's it. You can navigate back through these with the navigation, and when you get ready to start your program, yeah, got the pump off right now, but you just start, and you know, after you make each bend, you come back and click OK and start, and it'll walk you through, step you through, you know, the steps there with the different lengths and angles. So here's I'm overlaying a little footage of a project I did on my 40 ton. It was identical to this machine, but it was a 40 ton that we had to, I think it had 3 bends, you know, 3 different flanges, and you know, it was pretty much bending the full width. So check that out.
All right, here's a more lengthy shot at stepping through a multi-bend. You can see there that it's got different lengths and so forth, and between each bend you're just stepping through. And I'm pausing a little bit there because I'm just still kind of new at this, but basically you just you can see the back gauge moving in and out to give you the right bends stepping through the program.
All right, so there you are. Obviously this is a super thin piece of 18 gauge or 16, whatever it is, and obviously you could dial that in from there. I didn't have the bend sequence in the right order, but there's a part with multiple bends in it, stepping through the program, showing you that. So really basic overview, pretty simple to use. Obviously there's more you can do with it than I've shown here, and but let me get something thicker to bend on this, and this thing will bend up to 1/4 inch. Or even thicker in narrower widths, but yeah, let me get just some 1/4 inch on there, and we'll bend that. Pretty nice bend there, pretty close to 90. Same kind of process on this. You got to dial in that number and get it where you want it. But I'd be happy with that if this was my machine. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up this video. I wanted to mention a couple things about it that I didn't cover in the video. The first thing is the warranty. This thing comes with a 5-year complete structure warranty, meaning the frame, the chassis, the structural components of the machine, and then the entire machine itself, the motor, the pumps, everything on it, the controller has a 2-year. So it's a 2-year bumper to bumper warranty and a 5-year on the structure. If you decide to buy this machine, I'm located about 50 miles south of downtown Dallas, Texas, and I have the ability to get it loaded for you here, and we'll get that taken care of. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is that we are going to be doing a Zoom web hangout, and the first one is going to be this coming Friday night, and there's going to be a link in the description on how you can sign up for that. So I'm using the free version of Zoom, and I think we can have up to 100 people for 40 minutes on that. And the purpose is just going to be, kick the tires, shoot the poop, as this old Tony would say, and just hang out and talk about stuff. Talk about these machines, talk about the laser, or whatever's on your mind. If you're trying to start a business, or whatever you got. And if you got ideas you want to share with me, love to hear them. So check the link, jump on, join us, and we'll have fun. All right, real quick as we end the video for sure this time, I just wanted to point out that I do have other machines available for sale. 30-ton press brakes for $12,000. 60-ton iron worker for $11,000. 90-ton iron worker that'll do 1-inch steel for $14,000. And a 1-kilowatt CNC fiber laser cutting machine with 12-foot long rotary tube attachment. That's $62,000, and obviously that is used. But check the playlist here at the end of the video that you see on the screen, and you'll see more videos similar to this one where I do a walkthrough of all these other machines. And then if you have a need for a press brake or a machine that you don't see featured here, but you want to buy one and you don't want to hassle with going direct to the manufacturer, just hit me up. Be happy to get you hooked up with them or buy it for you and get it here, whatever you want to do. Thanks, guys. See ya.